Okay, so for your comedy show, I got the mic stand. I got 2 spotlights coming.
Oh, 2 spotlights.
Yeah, I figured no shadows. Have one on each side of them. The girl who's opening.
Yeah.
What was her name again?
Paige.
Paige.
Did you talk to her?
Yeah, I talked to her. She didn't like. She felt like when she does shows with backlighting, it gives a campfire effect. Kind of makes sense because that's kind of like what that comedy show I went to the other day did, and I feel like I was in like a trippy like haze because it was like set up like rock band style.
So there was like lights on the stage. But
Yeah,
not,
like imagine like a rock concert. It was kind of lit up like
Yeah.
that. And then when she explained it to me, I was like, oh, that does make sense.
So that's why you want the spotlight.
You just want to light up
Just to
the
light
comedian.
up from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
What's the campfire setup?
It gives you like that look of like how when you're talking to somebody through a campfire, that glow.
Can you also like
okay.
not? I bet you like can't see the audience as well either.
I wonder if you want that though.
Yeah, but don't you kind of like want to make fun of people? Like, it's not,
Yeah, but what if
that's the thing.
you're doing your jokes and you're not doing real good and you can just see the crowd not
You don't
laughing?
want, you don't want
I
to
don't
get
know about
distracted
that.
by like someone on their cell phone or someone.
Not that
That
I've been
too,
on a
yeah.
stage too often, but you know, like band concerts and stuff. Like you put the lights on, then you can't see the crowd at all. You know, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
I was wondering about that, like where exactly to put the spotlights so that you can see, because that room's narrow.
It's narrow. We're gonna have to play around with it a little bit.
What's our max number? Did we have that yet?
No, I mean we're up to like 22 people. I want to say right now, which was like okay, and like I have a feeling what's gonna happen because this happened with the brunch. It's like oh we only have like 20 people, and then at the last minute like 30 more people will sign up. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's
So,
what I'm saying. Are we looking at like a 30 max or like a 50?
I think 50 max.
All in that dining room.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little.
I think you need to pull the tables out of there.
Yeah.
And set the chairs in rows.
I think we gotta start thinking about that.
No, I think going future though, you can rent small high top tables for like $10, but your price needs to be higher.
Well, yeah. So
That's anything.
What do you do with food if you don't have tables?
I think we
Just have
to,
people eat beforehand.
people are
You
just
give
gonna
them.
have to eat,
You're
yeah.
giving them an hour before the show starts.
Yeah,
People
we
can come
are.
in and eat. Say that's what you were thinking.
Plus, I think there are going to be like breaks. I don't know. Is it gonna
You don't
just
do
run
breaks.
Straight?
They
No,
just
I
run
don't know.
comedian
I
to
guess you
Was
comedian.
it supposed to be
What I
an,
like
an
about-
hour and a half?
Hour and a half to 2 hours. So,
Sure.
although I feel like the way the cafe is set up, like you could theoretically like leave the room, come out to the bar area, grab something to eat, but still like listen to the show. Like it's
Yeah.
open enough that it's like you're not gonna miss anything if you just come out like
Sure.
grab a drink, you know, or something like that.
If you had all the food on,
yeah,
like
like
a
if you have all the
buffet
food on
style
the
on
bar
the counter.
side.
I don't think
yeah.
you'd want to be outside the room during a comedy show.
No, what I'm
It's
just
like how you
saying,
when you
like,
watch it on
could
TV,
do
you
it.
don't laugh as
You
much.
could do it.
It like ruins the experience.
if you were going to get a refill,
Yeah.
like you're taking the
See, this is
drinks from
where
your table.
People are
Greg
gonna
should
have
be
to
walking.
pee.
Greg should be walking around giving people refills.
I think that's what we're gonna go
Well,
for.
if
We
it's
just don't.
BYOB.
The people will tip you. The comedians will tell them to tip you.
We just
I
have,
swear.
we have no idea.
There is
with the table.
I did do some
situation.
more research on this liquor license thing,
Oh,
like
yeah?
the doing it off site. So I talked to the Sobels people.
Yeah.
Greg's repping their beer right now. And
Prehistoric pale ale.
is it good?
Yeah, good.
They said for like $30 they can get like a temporary off-site license and like sell their beer.
That's,
I was
like, perfect.
Oh, okay, well, I sort of advertised BYOB, but I'll change it. Like I don't.
Can we
really care.
change that for the show?
I think so.
You
I
gotta
don't-
tell
I
people
don't
too,
really
but that's gonna pack the place.
yeah, I gotta talk to her more about it. But
That's a good.
You're talking like a one-time license.
yeah, that's what she told me. I was like, that seems a little too easy. But okay. Now I don't think I, as a non-liquor license holding entity, can just go out there and get a $30.
No, get them to do it for you.
Right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
they can come in and yeah.
You
do
need
it
to be
that.
hands off. You just need to be the mover.
Right,
of
right.
The material.
I mean, I still want to collect, you know, on the cover.
Well, if it's only if it's only
But-
$30 to do it, you should get something off of the alcohol sales.
Well, that's going to be the. That's I don't know how that negotiation will go over. But
You want 10%. 10% is rent. They make some money. They provide everything. You just make 10% on doing nothing.
yeah,
That's killer.
How much of the cover is going to the comedians?
it depends on how many people we ended up getting. But I don't know. Let's if we get 40 people, what's 40 times 5?
200.
That would probably cover the comedians.
And then plus the 100 you already. Didn't you pay like 100 already to get the?
The comedians are going to be like $200 total.
Okay, that no, you don't got to pay anything else for organization or any of that.
I don't think so. I mean, I might give that page girl a tip because she really has done a lot of work. but-
I thought last you said it was like $100 to her.
well, it's $100 for the headliner. She's not the headliner. She's just a feature.
Okay.
So we're only paying the feature people, I think, like 25 each. But I might give her a little extra just because.
See how it turns
yeah,
out.
Yeah, right. And that's best case scenario. So then if I can keep $15 a person for like the food and beverage, then I think that's a win. I don't know.
Kind of like the catering the brunch.
Yeah.
It's like if you can pull a couple hundred profit
Yeah,
on
that's
3 hours,
I mean, we're not gonna get like totally rich over it, but it's better than
to justify staying open.
yeah. Oh
on-
yeah,
on a
justifies
on a
staying
weekend
open.
night.
Yeah. And the nice thing is I got paid already because I set it up on PayPal. Now PayPal takes a ridiculous percentage off you, and that's something I think I have to bump up the price $5 just because of the fees. But yeah, I mean I already got like $400 basically.
What is the date and where can people sign up?
Friday, February 17th. It's gonna be doors open at 6. Show starts at 7. They can go to cafeitalianojeanette.com and sign up there. We had somebody call the cafe today, ask how they can buy tickets. So,
Nice.
and I actually think like as much as I would hate to do it, like I do lose that fee. You know, like it's like 3. It's like somebody paid like $40. I only get like 36 of it back. So it's like I lose like $1 a person basically
10%.
off the fees. It's like ridiculous, you know. But
Ticketmaster, Taylor Swift on that.
I know it's just such a problem, but whatever.
They got to make money too.
It's convenient.
Post COVID, I mean, you want live in person performances.
They got to make
The
money.
nice
too.
thing is it's convenient, you know. Then you just click a button and it goes right into your bank account. You don't have to like worry about it, you know. And then it's just like
just figure out how many people are going to pay that way and bump the price up to cover
Well,
it.
that's what I'm gonna
That's
say.
all
like,
you do.
I think next time I do it, just
Those
make it
people have to pay for the
$25.
convenience that
Yeah.
they want.
It's cool how many people in Westmoreland County want to support local comedy.
Yeah,
Like it's
I
really
think
something that
comedy
you
and-
could just not know, even anyone going. It's like, well, I only got to pay $20. It's gonna be a full night.
I think comedy in general is just really popular right now because people are looking to
I
like, cheer
agree.
themselves up.
I agree.
And
I
then
think
also,
that's the
it's
podcast thing, like taking over.
it's a
you
way
know?
different way of going out too. Like a rock band's kind of like cheesy, and they're usually playing cover songs. These people all have to be creative on their
Yeah.
own because it's not. You can't just go out there and just play somebody like say somebody else's jokes. Like
Yeah.
that's not funny.
Yeah.
Like you gotta make
Yeah,
it
you
about
can't
yourself.
just go play Metallica
Mhm.
and like get away with it. You
Mhm.
know, it's like, but like the 80s and the 90s, like that's what you did. Even when we
Right.
were younger, the early aughts. I mean, it was like you went.
But we like
You want-
variety. We don't want to hear the same things over and
No,
over. And over.
you're right.
Like they
Oh,
were just on
we're
CDs, so they were
millennials.
used to just listening to whatever.
Yeah.
We expect music like new. We want a new song every week.
well,
Realistically,
the problem
you
was
know?
I think
AI will have it.
right,
I went to a lot of
That's
shows
what-
up in Erie, and like some of the music just wasn't good because it's like these people like trying to like come up with stuff on the fly, and it's
Mhm.
just like okay.
It was
like,
actually
it's
the
just-
only ever garbage music concert I went to was that grunge band.
that grunge band.
I think her name was
Uh,
Jen, ex-girlfriend Jen, maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Friends with Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. Yeah.
We went to like some punk rock all black band.
It's like 18th and
I
State
wore like a
Street or
polo.
something.
I wore like a black polo. Never felt more out of place.
I think I vaguely remember that.
It was very odd.
It was weird.
Very
yeah.
odd.
But it's like if that was a comedy show, could have been a great night. You know what I mean?
it seems like
Because-
everywhere is doing these comedy shows though.
It does. That's
It's
why
a hot
I'm-
thing to do
I'm,
right
I'm
now.
hopping on the
Yeah.
bandwagon with it, but I like it.
Me
It's
too.
easier.
Mhm.
Like like logistically, it's like you need a mic and a.
I
you know,
honestly just wish I had a property with a commercial space that I could just run a comedy
well, you
show
can
out
use
of
mine.
and not
Okay.
even like lose, like not even be concerned about really making money. Just having like a nice comedy place.
Just give me the money.
Thursday,
people
Friday,
can
Saturday.
come
You
out,
could
dude.
run the place, book the people.
The cafe's all year. Honestly, like if this works out, like I want all the weekends to just be like a special event. And if
Do a
there's-
comedy show like weekend.
And if
do,
there's not a special
do an
event
open-
going on, then we're just not open.
do an
because
open
it's-
mic night on like a Thursday. And do like get comedians there. I don't. The price might go up so depending on what your crowds are like. But Friday and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Or I mean, or if your crowd's not as big, do it on Thursdays. But then have an open mic night too, so that people come watch. They want to go give it a shot.
The only
They can
thing
see
with
how
the
hard
open
it is.
mic night that I am kind of, I want to establish ourselves as a little bit of like a
I wouldn't go right off the
comedy.
bat.
Yeah, like we had like this is a little bit of a comedy nightclub.
We're a
like,
different
kind
type of
feel.
comedy right now.
Yeah, right. But like we're not a bar, so people aren't just gonna like naturally be there and being like, oh, I want to tell a couple jokes. You know what I mean? So
Well, you just got to be
Oh.
open during that frame, like what it is. You don't be like a bar that just somebody comes in.
No, yeah, I know, but it's just like speaking of Erie, there was it was a 24/7 karaoke bar. So again, anytime you wanted to go there and sing karaoke, it was like available, you know. And it was like, I'm not saying we're a 24/7 open mic night place, but you know, it had that.
Just leave a
reputation.
microphone in the corner, so
Yeah,
even at
sure.
lunch, somebody can go up and start telling jokes.
So how about that police chief getting fired? Ha 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 ha.
I was gonna say the biggest comedy with our cafe.
Oh my god,
The kid, our cook, got arrested.
it's crazy.
What?
Didn't actually get arrested.
We don't know. It's one
Wait,
of
what
those.
happened? What happened? What
This is a retelling of a Chris story. So,
So take it for what it's worth.
yeah, I'm gonna take the facts for what they are. He leaves the cafe Saturday night
Yeah,
around 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
yeah.
Leaves his keys in the cafe, so he can't get back to his apartment. His apartment's maybe a 20-minute walk. So he gets back there. He goes from the bowling alley to Neighbors to D'Annunzio's, kind of hoping to find somebody new that could get him back in.
Well, like he has like 3 keys spread throughout town because this isn't the first time he's left his keys at the cafe. And I hate to be like that bad boss / friend, but I was not driving back to just.
It's 11. It's 11:30 at night.
Yeah,
Chris
Like, I
is just
wasn't
calling
doing it.
He's calling the D'Annunzio's. He's calling everybody.
Couldn't get in.
Can't get in.
Decides to break into his house.
Kicks in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Starts trying to climb in the window. Neighbors call the cops on him.
Do his neighbors not know him?
And it's
My
one of
wife
those.
said the same
If
thing.
you see Chris with the hoodie up,
Yeah.
banging on the side of a window, knocking in air conditioning.
Probably making a ruckus.
Yeah, he probably was doing it like aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, the neighbors weren't out of line
He
to call
was
the cops.
drugged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they weren't out of line. It was just
Yeah.
one of those like, okay. Now when the cops show up, they ask him for his license. So you live here. He doesn't have the apartment on his driver's license.
Yeah, his house isn't on.
So they're like, no, you don't live here.
It's a different address.
And he's sitting here shouting, call Ronnie D'Annunzio,
Yeah.
call Tony. This is like 12 o'clock at night. So it's like all of these people are sleeping right now. Everyone Chris is calling for is sleeping. They take him back to the
Wait,
drunk
hold
tank.
on. Are the D'Annunzios his current landlords?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So you just keep stealing everything from them.
Basically.
Either that or they're pawning Chris on
Or-
now.
yeah,
Or they're like, oh, look at this guy coming to take our problems away.
Who's really winning? I don't know.
I don't
but,
know.
you know.
I'm imagining the same scenario at the diner when he's like kicking in a glass door to try to get into the roof of the building. And it's like, sorry.
Just get the fingerprint code. It
Yeah,
solves
it's
all
good-
issues.
yeah. Honestly, though.
It's one of those he should have just went to sleep at the bowling alley. We know that was the place that he was at. The guy
Somewhere.
was he's friends with the owner. Could have stayed there. Either way, no. Now
Whatever.
he's downtown Jeanette in the drunk tank.
It's drunk tank.
They finally get a hold of Ronnie at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, yeah, he lives here. Let
Yeah.
him go. So what do? They don't drive him back.
No, yeah.
They just release him and they tell him, as soon as you step foot out of here, we're gonna have to arrest you for public drunkenness.
so you have to stay here and
So
sober
you
up.
gotta stay here.
They said that?
And,
Yeah.
and Chris is doing is, give me your badge, give me your badge. Like, what's your number? And it's like, oh, I can only imagine what this legally looks
That's like when you hear him first tell the story, it's like I was completely in the wrong, but like in reality he's wasted.
But
and,
wait,
like,
when you know
Couldn't
him,
he have
if
called
you-
an
if you
Uber,
know-
though? Why didn't he try calling an Uber?
He doesn't do the. He doesn't have a credit card.
No.
Doesn't have a debit card. Doesn't have a bank account.
Someone got to drive him to Walmart to cash checks.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have to write him a check next week because I'm gonna be out of town, and it's like I know he's not gonna be able to cash it for like a week and a half, and it's just like
So then he'll rely on Dawn, one of our most reliable employees.
she gets into a fight with her boyfriend. We don't really know the details.
No,
Which one is that? Was she the one that was there when I was?
I call her the Chris Whisperer.
Probably. I don't know. Who
Yeah,
was there
when-
when you were there?
I don't know her name. She's a middle-aged woman.
When you came when I was there, she was the third person.
Yeah, but he
I
came
think that
on.
was the same person.
You came on Thursday, right?
It was Thursday, yeah.
Thursday lunch.
You weren't there.
I'm talking like a month and a
Oh
half.
no, yeah,
Oh,
I came for
like
dinner.
early when we first opened up on the weekend.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that was her, Dawn. Yeah. So she gets into a fight. Boyfriend throws her phone across the house, blows up into a million pieces. She doesn't have a phone. So it's just-
Drama at the diner.
and then we get crushed on Sunday. I have a double ear infection.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can't hear.
Alec was dying. Like the whole weekend, it was like Alec probably should have been off. But
Yeah. I left to go get medicine. I came back. Chris is like
Oh, he started
burning down the kitchen. The cook's here. I'm leaving. I'm going on break. Ha ha ha.
The number.
Your name's on the fucking door, not mine. Blah blah blah.
The number of racial
Just make the
slurs.
goddamn breakfast sandwich. Like
The number of racial slurs that he hit you with,
Oh, I
that
know.
you aren't even those races,
I
are
know.
amazing. He's just in the back screaming like I can't even repeat it. Like he's just back there. I'm gonna stab him. The moment I see the whites of his eyes, I'm gonna stab him and I'm gonna walk out. It's like, oh god, I got a funky omelet here.
That was
that I gotta
because
put
you
in
were a
order
little,
for.
that was because you're a little late.
He was getting
Well,
his
at least-
medicine
you
for
were
his ear
getting medicine.
infection.
But like in his
The
eyes, you were
moment-
just not there on
Yeah.
time.
The way Sunday worked out, it was like it was going to be 2 servers, 2 cooks. If Alex one of the cooks, the moment he stepped out, we just got slammed. We just got like 20 people all at once, and it's like I was watching them piling, and you could just see Chris's eyes like rolling. Like, okay, 4 orders, 6, 10, 12. Once you get to that point, he's yelling at you for bringing the orders back.
yeah.
It's like
That's
I
when
hold
sometimes
them
we
for.
intentionally hold.
You learn to hold them.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I tell the table in advance. It's like, listen, we're a little backed up here. And I sit on it for a minute and wait till Chris gets one done. So it doesn't look as intimidating.
It was my fault though. I mean,
yeah,
I take responsibility
yes,
for
yes.
it, but it's just the way. Like this is what like you have one call off, and like the whole thing goes awry. You know, because like if Dawn would have been there, then it would have been
It would have been fine because she could have moved back into the kitchen.
Yeah, and then I would have got back, and then I would have been able to just been like that extra set of hands instead of like.
But at least you're able to
everything.
still operate.
Yeah, we got
And
through
that-
it.
Like
and
when
that's
I
what-
got sick, I'm just out of commission.
I was
You know?
borderline out of commission. Like I don't even really know how much help I was in the kitchen. I was just making toast at one point. You know, I was just like, okay, I'll be on toast detail. You just sort of do everything.
Everyone
else.
got like real sick. Like,
Yeah.
in the last few weeks.
Last 2 weeks.
Everybody did. That's basically why we didn't record last week. It's like we were all
This
sick.
guy didn't.
I still can't hear out of my right ear. That's why I don't have my headphones in
Damn.
because it's like
You
it's
start
just-
the echo.
and like when I get up, I can like feel like the fluid in my ear like go back and forth. It's really uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I got to get on a plane next week. Like that's not going to be fun.
Where are you going on a plane to?
Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
a couple days. So
Golfing?
no, me and Shannon, Baby Moon. So
Baby what?
Baby Moon. Did you ever hear that term before?
No.
It's like a vacation you go on before you have a child.
No.
Are you taking Atlas?
Never heard
No.
of that.
No.
No, we're not taking Atlas. Yeah, you never heard of that term? Baby,
A baby moon.
like a honeymoon.
A honeymoon after you get married. A baby moon before you have a baby.
have your child. Yeah,
Never heard of it.
we sort of tried to have it before we had Atlas, but it was COVID, so it was like we really couldn't go anywhere. So this was sort of like us making up for not having a baby moon the first time around.
But you go
So-
while she's pregnant?
huh?
But you go like while she's pregnant?
You go, yeah. That's sort of like she can't drink.
Yeah, that
you
would
know,
suck.
that
I
is
don't
sort
think
of-
it's
Courtney
an
would
odd
even
time to
enjoy
plan a
that.
party.
It's not a party.
A
It's
vacation.
a trip.
Yeah.
Vacations are a party.
I guess. I don't know.
I spend the
Shannon just wants
entire
to get-
time
She
drunk.
just wants to get out of the 20-degree weather and go somewhere where it's 80. Is really
Which
what it
yeah,
comes
that,
down to,
I'm with that. I'm totally baby moons and all that justification. But yeah, I guess you guys go south to do the apple picking thing too, or the treat when the leaves are falling, leaf peeking,
Oh yeah, leaf peeping.
peepers,
Yeah.
peekers. It's
You don't go
creepy.
south. You gotta go north for that one.
I
Actually.
thought you go to Virginia.
Well, I mean, you could go.
We're from PA.
Whatever.
It's that south.
Yeah, I
We're
guess.
going south down. We're going down to Virginia.
You don't have to. A lot of people come to PA because usually
What's the technical
Good
name
idea.
for this activity again?
I think leaf peeping.
Leaf,
I think leaf
What?
peeping.
leaf peepers, leaf
You go look
peepers.
at the colors. So yeah, that we're doing.
Teach
The
his own.
we're doing the baby
Teach
moon.
his own. Okay.
Sunday's gonna be a busy day.
Baby
we,
moon.
We have the catering.
Oh, is this the breakfast and
This is the breakfast and
breakfast
the
and
catering.
brunch,
Yeah.
brunch and beer.
So I'll be
breakfast and
doing
beer.
the flight's not till 7:30 at night on Sunday. So I think I'll be okay. Like once I get on that plane, I will be like, whew, like we got there, you know.
There you go.
But the leading up to it's gonna be a little.
Wait, so
hectic,
how long are you
so-
going for?
It's just like 2 nights. We're coming back Thursday.
So if it goes into chaos while you step out for a couple hours, does it not freak you out going for like that many days?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not good. We actually planned it like this on purpose.
Because yeah,
'Cause
we-
if,
that
like,
won't
Monday,
happen
Tuesday,
Sunday,
like-
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
like
Okay.
Wednesday we're off, so there's one day. Monday, Tuesday, we're only open 7:30 to 2:30, so it's kind of like 2 people can get through the day, and then I'm coming back Thursday. So
But I don't know how you respond when you get those texts from Chris saying
Oh,
you better
yeah,
come back.
I
What's
know.
the What goes through your head then? Because he's shouting as he's texting them to you. He's yelling them at me.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like I'll text them, but I don't think it's.
Oh, I felt guilty as shit, but it was like I can't do anything about it.
You
at
gotta get the
current
medicine.
time. Yeah,
That
like,
was.
I got home, taking the medicine. Shannon was like trying to take a shower because like she was watching the kid. I was literally like under a blanket because I was freezing and like sick, you know. And then I get up at one point. And I'm like, Shannon, I have to go.
Yeah.
So I rush back to the cafe and just walk into absolute chaos and have to try to operate. Like that was fun. So got through it though. Greg's turning into a real all-star over there. I can't believe it.
1 o'clock. Chris decides. He wants to go have a beer at Sobel's because they open at 1 on Sundays.
Oh yeah.
And he does this thing where he gets mad that I take a smoke break and then he doesn't have that option. And he goes, just because I don't smoke doesn't mean I can't have a smoke break. I totally agree. We used to have at Carmichael, it was apple breaks. Just whatever you want to do, you should always be able to take 4 minutes after an hour, recollect yourself, get some fresh air. It's hot in the kitchen.
Right.
I get it. Chris translates that into going to buy a beer. Next thing you know,
he's doing beer breaks.
this is after 1 o'clock.
So it's after we close.
Yeah, this is after we closed. We're in cleanup. We were still kind of like we still had people in the store, but it was like one of those cooking. He was done cooking.
If I was the boss, I'd let him drink at the end of the day like that.
Yeah.
It's one of those though you don't.
As long as like the knives are put away and shit.
That's what we're not at that point yet. We're just about to get all the. Let's. Count,
I was sweeping the kitchen when he.
Let's
decided
count
to
down
do
the
this.
money and let's put the sharp objects away.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we
Yeah.
get everything
Let's get
important
it
taken
all.
care of, and then you can do whatever you want. And when he goes over to Sobel's, you just don't know. Like he said, he told me to wait outside for him because I'm like, I'm driving home. I'm not going to have an afternoon beer.
Oh,
Like,
Sunday.
no, there's really no point in me doing this. But it's like Chris just jumps on in there. I'm standing outside in the rain waiting, just thinking like the sooner I can get back there and clean up my stuff.
I think the stories are going to continue to get better as he moves in upstairs.
I don't know.
It's the next chapter. What chapter would you say the diner is on?
It's like 8.
I'd say
Somewhere like that.
You need to just write some
if
jokes.
you're doing monthly.
Yeah.
If you're
yeah.
doing
really.
you
Each
should
chapter
have
is-
a set for the diner. Like
you need to get like a 5 minutes.
so, I decided to
like
open up a
diner,
a
business.
little bit. Yeah.
I started to open a service
I could-
business during
I could
COVID.
probably. Yeah.
That'll get people to come back.
I mean, I'm pretty funny, right? I mean, you guys laugh at me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't. It
I mean, I
would
laughed
reach
at
a
you.
point that I don't know. I've never seen a bomb. That's what I was going to ask you about the Green Beacon.
Yeah.
You never seen somebody ball?
No, I've never seen like one where the
It
whole
just-
no one's laughing.
Yeah, that can. I mean, I don't know if your comedians will be like that. I mean, I'm sure they have good jokes. But if
Yeah.
they're testing stuff out, they might because they might view this as an opportunity to just like work some material out.
That's,
And I think
that's
that's
kind
what
of
it
yeah.
is.
So
That's
that's
right.
when they might bomb, but
Right.
they'll have like a couple good jokes so they can get laughs.
Right.
They know we'll get laughs.
We'll go back to something that they
Yeah,
tried
but you might
to
see
do.
them bomb a couple jokes.
I kind of want to see someone bomb. Like every comedian
Well,
I've seen
'cause I
has done
know-
well.
Why don't you give me 5 minutes and let's see what happens?
So let me tell you about my time in Grapeville.
yeah.
Not Grapeville. Where is it? Lincoln Heights.
Lincoln Heights.
Like-
Just see if you
Lincoln
can write a joke for like a minute.
Yeah, I probably could. I don't know.
Do it.
I want to watch. I've never seen a comedy show. I mean, it's like I have nothing even to like.
I was talking.
The one that we host will be the first one that I've ever seen.
Thinking
so.
back my whole life, he doesn't listen to stand-up comedy.
Let's say I don't.
It's just not a thing with him. Like, what's your favorite comedian?
Well, who's the person I said? I can't even remember.
I can't even remember either. I think I was naming names.
Have you
for
given it a shot though, or
I have. I don't know. Like
I'm talking Craig. I don't think I'd say almost half of the population does not listen at all to any stand-up comedians.
half of the population?
Half of the population, yeah.
I mean, I've like tried.
How is that possible?
Same reason half of the population doesn't watch football.
Really, half the population doesn't watch.
football.
Yeah, that is so shocking.
Yeah, I wouldn't think half of the country
What?
watches football.
Seriously,
I'm talking 320 million adults.
I'm
It's
guessing
160 million people.
I would guess like 75% of the country.
That's
is
true.
watching.
I guess
I mean, like,
75
what?
million people watch.
How many
it.
people watch the Super Bowl? It's probably only like 30 or 40 million.
Really?
That would be high. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And there's
streaming
100
and who watches coverage the next day.
What? There's 200 and some million people that live in America.
I'd say
Or-
half the people care. That's just, I mean, if I'm going to throw out numbers, I
Yeah.
mean, just say half the people.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I think it's like, and same with stand-up comedy is like some people like to listen to podcasts, other people find it boring and don't like people talking kind of puts them to sleep.
Again, I'm sure like at a live event, I'd enjoy it. It'd be like one of those things. Like Greg hates hockey, but I bet if you actually went and watched a hockey game, like you'd have to enjoy
If
it
you're
a
at
little
a game,
bit.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it'd be the same thing with a comedy show for a not comedy lover. It'd just be like, yeah, I'm here. That's why I said this at some point. You're primed to laugh when you go to one of these events, you know, and like I think that was always my problem when I was trying to watch something on TV, and then it's just like I don't know, like I'm not primed to laugh right now. Like I guess I want to be entertained.
Do
but
you
I'm
like
not
when
going
things are
in
made
with
absurd?
that, so made absurd.
Like, yeah, do you enjoy when like something that's sometimes serious becomes like real absurd?
yeah, like politics.
Yeah, like when stupid stuff happens and like people add chaos to
I
it. Does
don't
that?
know.
Do you enjoy? Like you don't enjoy that,
Like
or
the
do
Jackass movies, I thought were dumb. So like I just like that's just.
And I'm
that's
with
just me,
Alec on
you
that one.
know,
I don't like stupid humor. I would call like Three Stooge like humor. More like laughing at like fart noises,
Yeah,
like sound effects.
like sometimes it's funny,
But
a
like
lot of times
making
it's not.
like when
you
people
know?
make fun of serious events though.
Making light
No,
of
like,
something that's
straight up
serious.
jokes.
That's what I'm saying. You make light of something that is
Like how
heavy.
Tony Hinchcliffe in the clip I sent you was
yeah.
making fun of the DeMar
I was
Hamlin.
I was just gonna reference that actually.
Yeah.
So like I didn't find that funny.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't
so
get.
you wouldn't like any of the stuff I listen to.
No, that's
It's
what.
all like
well, no,
that.
that's
it's
what,
all like taking like real extreme angles on things.
what I think was interesting is you have three different, radically different takes on comedy between us three. We're like Alec doesn't do stand up.
But you like Ari Shaffir,
Yeah,
and he does that same kind of comedy.
but I don't like when he starts making sound effects when he does like the emerging penis. That's I don't find that funny.
Who's the famous black comedian? Like why am I
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think he's funny.
And that Kevin Hart's definitely funny, but he's more of a run of the almost more PG.
Yeah.
I'd put him as
Mainstream.
more
the ones who are like trying to be on TV for stuff are the I don't
commercial
find them as
commercial
funny.
comedians.
Some of them, I mean,
Jim
they'll say
Gaffigan-
funny things, but
Are you a Jim Gaffigan fan?
I don't even know who that is.
Who's the guy with the ventriloquists?
Jeff Dunham.
I thought he was hilarious.
He's funny. Yeah.
I would watch him. Like, if
His
we-
material is limited because he's a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
He's
But
got,
if we're counting
niche
that,
market.
like I've watched
Yeah.
him.
No,
I
but
think
yeah, that
he's
is
funny.
comedy.
But now-
Stephen Colbert, like we were talking about that, like okay,
You find
like,
him
is he a
funny?
comedian?
Don't say
Like,
that. Don't not anymore.
He's supposed to be one, but he used to.
Not
be.
anymore.
He's a ventriloquist, except he's the dummy, and the DNC puts his hand up his ass and then just moves his. mouth.
I should preface that by saying when he was doing the Colbert Report, I watched him.
And even then, he'd have comments where he talked about the difficulty of putting on a mask, of playing a character. Essentially, he played a Bill O'Reilly
Oh really?
spinoff. As he was playing in, because there were times where
Wait,
Craig
what was the
Craig would
mask?
cite Colbert back in the day, and it's like you do realize he's making these arguments
As like a
ironically.
Yes,
like you're
right.
not supposed to. Actually, like he's not
actually
arguing a
agree with
conservative point. He's trying to make a conservative point look stupid.
I never cited Colbert as a like conservative speaker.
We're talking. This is back Maine bowling when we were in high school.
I
so-
didn't even watch that
20
stuff.
years ago.
I like never even
10
watched.
I'm
that
pretty sure you were Ryan.
in
Ryan
high
probably has an
school,
opinion on this.
When I was still in high school, I was like an Obama, like oh, this is sweet. We're gonna have a black president.
no, you were not. You bought me an Obama Chia Pet
That was oh yeah, when we were like
when he got
seniors.
elected.
When we were,
That
like,
was
seniors.
2008. That was 2008. That was a senior year.
Yeah, that's true. Senior year, I started paying attention a little bit, but I didn't watch like I didn't watch Stephen Colbert.
No, I'm pretty sure that you thought you cited Stephen Colbert as anti-Democrat.
Oh no, I've always known.
Neither here
They
nor
are
there.
But the
dumbasses.
political satire, I guess, is what I was getting with. It, like not, like I always thought that was funny. The Daily Show with
Jon Stewart,
Jon
I'd say, is a
Stewart was
pioneer,
always
but now he's a
funny,
joke
you know.
now. If you listen to his
Well,
podcast,
yeah.
The Problem with Jon Stewart, it's
All
among the worst.
The problem with both of them is they took themselves off the air. Like I don't know why they did that.
Well, Colbert got a raise. He got late night. He got
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live. So that was his dream.
What
was
He's
his
a
show
Johnny
before?
Carson. The Colbert Report.
Colbert
He
Report,
followed
yeah.
Jon Stewart at 10:30 on Comedy Central.
It was a great 1-2.
You would have Jon Stewart did a liberal comedy roundtable.
What was
and then
Jon
you'd have
Stewart's show?
The Daily Show.
The Daily Show.
It's one of a kind. Since
on
then,
Comedy
there hasn't been
Central.
another one. When Bush was president, it was all Bush bashing. When Obama was president, he went on Democrats too.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 2016 that Trump made him retire. He made a bunch of jokes about Trump ate pizza with a fork, called him not a real New Yorker.
But it was funny though. It was a good one too.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like
But
these guys were great together. You know?
Jon Stewart went into producing movies. Colbert went to
late night, not being funny.
Yeah, and that's where Colbert playing a character. He's a great actor. Colbert, the one
Playing
doing
himself.
vaccine dances, singing songs about
Trying to be mainstream in that, not
bad,
working.
ugly
Is
look,
Bill-
a
is
tough
Bill-
look.
Is Bill Maher a comedian?
Oh yeah, most certainly.
Yeah.
He still does stand up. To me, a comedian has to do stand up. If
Yeah.
you're not doing stand up, you can do comedy. You can be a good actor in a comedy series. But to be a comedian, you got to go do the stand up. By yourself, make jokes, not original, whatever makes the people laugh. That to me is a standard of what I would consider a comedian. Which would be like Jon Stewart right now, I wouldn't consider a comedian. I consider him a shill.
A what?
A shill. SCHILL. Yes, you're selling out to whoever pay you money. So the DNC, if he wants to have a successful podcast, he has to interview Annie Applebaum, and it's like
Annie Applebaum,
a very anti-vaxxer. I think a New York Times reporter podcast from a year ago. Irrelevant.
You want to get some topics here?
We got a couple topics. Let's stick with comedy. Hunter Biden.
Oh yeah.
Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
Went to Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Did
Apparently Joe did a couple fundraisers in New York City.
I thought you were gonna say he almost got subpoenaed, because he did almost.
I would say over the course from the last time we recorded, we had just found out there was one document raid related to Hunter's Penn, Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Penn Biden office.
Well, you heard Twitter's getting taken in for a whole thing about.
Oh
this,
yeah,
right?
yeah. The Twitter files are going to be actually the.
Yeah, but it's not even just like, well, I don't know if you call it Twitter files or not, but like old Twitter people are getting subpoenaed to talk about why they suppressed the Hunter Biden story.
The Twitter files. That's why I said the Twitter files. They focus on this. They outline those names.
I read
and
a
now it's
newspaper
quick.
article about it, so I was pretty excited.
Are we going to enforce it? And that. I don't know.
I don't really think the Republicans have enough people to actually like do anything about it.
I think first stab.
But they're gonna get their day in court, which is what they want. So there you go, Hunter Biden fanatics. You're getting your day in court. You know, like that's what you wanted. That's what you're gonna get.
They put a special since the last time we recorded. They put a special investigator.
Yes,
on the cause, which that could bury everything. And they also released that not only did Donald Trump have classified documents, the holy Mike Pence.
Yeah.
What is this? He's just looking. Oh, I got some in my garage
I saw them
too.
try out Mike Pence,
And
I'm like, is this what I thought this was the Democrats actually putting that out there, because now it's just like everybody has classified documents. It's not a big deal. Or is this a Republican push thing to suppress the Trump deal?
Team Hunter.
You think it's all Team Hunter?
This is all as soon as first you have Trump was president, Joe Biden was a senator. You can make an argument that Trump could have declassified anything just by his position. Joe Biden never had that opportunity when he was a senator or a vice president. No, vice president cannot
can't do that as vice
declassify.
president.
Yeah, but you still have access to classified material.
You can't take it out. You can't bring it
make
home
it
to Delaware
declassified.
and put it next to the Corvette in the garage. Period. Full stop. There's no justification you can give that
I said this last time. It doesn't matter because he's the president now. But continue.
But that's what the news since then is. We found out that the documents are not just from recently. It goes back this time in the Senate
they go back.
in 2008.
But it doesn't.
And he's keeping it at the University of Delaware.
It still doesn't bother me because he's the president now.
I don't think it's going to. If the DNC's goal when they brought this up was to impeach both him and Trump, if their goal was, listen, you're both guilty, we're taking you both out. Well, it looks like Hunter Biden's FBI just for Mike Pence too. Oh no! Now do we got to do every senator? What about Schiff? What about the whole crew? We got to go up and down the line. George Bush,
Bernie
Bill
Sanders,
Clinton,
Bernie Sanders.
show me everything. And now it's that, and everyone's kind of going. It's like, well, I don't think I have any. If I did, it was accidental. It's like, well, that's the excuse they're all going to.
Well, that's how you lawyer up and get around this stuff.
I think we're moving towards a blanket dismissal. This gets punted to the special counsel. You are not going to impeach Joe Biden for the classified documents.
Yeah.
What's the next move? Because I'm waiting on the call to the 2024 convention. We're supposed to start having a Democratic primary here to be president of the United States. I'm under the assumption that Joe Biden has never been physically fit to hold this position, and he's just been a dummy stand-in. Well, now it looks like he's on SNL. He's fundraising in New York. He's investigating Mike Pence. This guy's going nowhere.
You don't have the clip from SNL?
No, I do not, because I have the clip of BFF saying that the main host sat next to Hunter Biden in the crowd.
Can we YouTube the clip of Hunter Biden at SNL?
You can probably YouTube Joe Biden.
You don't have YouTube?
I have YouTubed a clip of confirmation that Hunter Biden was. I'll play that.
YouTube SNL Hunter Biden.
See if you can find that in the
They
meantime.
are definitely posting the stuff on YouTube. I do not have a phone. My phone is recording the podcast.
No,
I
that's
have
true.
to put my headphones in. I can't believe it. Oh, do I really sound this nasally? I guess
Joe
I do.
Biden. What? Joe Biden
Is
had
this
a
the
cameo
SNL
on
one?
the episode,
This
and
is the Brianna Chicken Fry from this show went to SNL and was in the audience. She sat next to Hunter Biden. Apparently, it looks like Joe Biden was performing. I haven't watched the SNL yet, though.
What is she about to give us?
Play it for
oh,
me.
you
that
know
is
who we were
cool.
sitting next to too, Hunter Biden, because Joe Biden. What? Joe Biden had a cameo on the episode, and we were sitting next
This
to
is Dave
his
Portnoy.
grandson, and I look over. I'm like, why does he look so familiar? And he just looks at me and Grace, and he goes, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of you guys." We're like, "What? You're Hunter Biden?" And then we look down next to us, and it's Michael Gray Gubler, friggin' Adrian Spencer Reed, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is the best episode."
I don't know what you just said at the end, but that's crazy. Hunter Biden being there and just being like, "I'm a fan of you guys."
Yeah, we were like, "What?" It was so crazy.
I get my news
What a
from weird
night.
places.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, Tony Hawk was there.
Anyway, can
Tony
we find the
Hawk
Tony Hawk was
SNL?
there?
The cameo of Joe Biden, because I have not gone back and
Can
watched
I
it.
try to look it up?
I just tried. I couldn't find it.
They have to be posting it.
I don't think.
Would you?
it's- I don't
No,
think
because
it's
I'm pretty
released
sure
yet.
everyone is mad about this. If you were the DNC, if you were Hollywood, shut up, Joe. You're under investigation. What are you doing? SNL should be doing skits about classified documents appearing all over the country.
Right,
That
right,
is
right,
what SNL
right,
should be.
right.
But no, they're having Joe
Are
Biden
they-
come
they're
in.
not doing that?
They're having Joe Biden basically do a presidential a free commercial on the show. You're gonna let him joke about himself. Oh, Joe, you can't remember. Remember he's the cool Corvette. That's the only thing to remember from the story. But that was BFFs is a Barstool podcast. Dave Portnoy, mid 20-year-old woman, Brianna Chicken Fry, and a TikTok guy, Josh Richards, all just kind of do a weekly podcast where they talk about internet news. Apparently, it's tough to get SNL tickets, and Hunter got them. Just after,
Is it that hard to get SNL tickets? Really?
I think it's almost impossible.
Really?
You have to be invited.
Isn't it like a small
See,
studio?
we were talking
It's
about comedy
extremely
earlier.
small.
There's a few things I find funny from SNL, but by and large, I think it's dumb.
It's when you look back at the body of work for 40 years, it comes in waves.
Yeah.
You get groups that
you're right.
act
You're
like
right.
troops that act well together, and then you get to, okay, is this just going to be who can make fun of Trump the most? Well, there's
right.
nothing original.
But
here.
there's also just like if you actually sat down and just like, oh, I'm gonna watch a Saturday Night Live. Like there's several times I did that and could not get through.
I can't. I
Could
quit.
not get through
I
the
record
episode.
it. I don't go back and watch it until now. Like I said,
There's also a ridiculous amount of commercials.
I wish I had the SNL for the next episode. I'll have the SNL clip. To me, this was enough.
So that was our Hunter update.
He's gonna get his day. You guys won.
The other Hunter update.
So-
The reason we haven't done Conspiracy Village 2 yet is Fox just produced Who is Hunter Biden? What is Hunter Biden? Part 3. They found an email that the first episode we talked about this. I showed you the one
Meanwhile,
about
we haven't even started recording episodes about the early on stages of the Hunter Biden show.
The-
But somehow this is delaying those shows.
Do you remember the burner? That email I showed you with the one from Ukraine where he tells Hunter Biden is emailing Devin Archer saying there was 24 rules regarding Ukraine. The 22nd was get a burner. I handed it to Craig and I had him read it. I gave him the wrong number. It took a second.
I'm vaguely remembering this.
Well, Fox has just discovered this last week. So they just put out this whole thing based around it is
They finally caught up to our episodes.
the importance is that's evidence of he had classified information. And his whole argument is me and my dad didn't talk.
Right.
And you can look at the laptop, you can go wherever. It's like we weren't actually in communication. No, he received classified information. Maybe it wasn't from his dad, the VP, but it was coming from the executive branch.
Yeah.
Whether it be Obama, John Kerry,
Yeah.
Newland,
Yeah.
there's a whole John McCain, a whole group of people that were neocons that were involved in this. That
Well,
were just this week, Fox figured it out.
for all your all year Hunter Biden.
Fox
haters
isn't
out
listening.
there?
Fox is not listening to us. Fox,
Well-
if they are, they're slow playing us.
Let me ask you that: Will Hunter Biden get subpoenaed at the end of the day by the special counsel?
Not by the special counsel, by Congress, and I don't think he'll take it. Unless
What do you
how
mean you don't think he'll take it? When you get subpoenaed, you get subpoenaed.
we just did that with Trump for 4 years,
Yeah,
where
but-
they subpoenaed him and they said everyone got investigated, and Trump just threw him the middle finger and said, "Come and get me, bro."
I riled against that before.
But Hillary Clinton, we've been doing. We're on 10 years.
I don't think was Hillary Clinton ever subpoenaed though.
She did 8 hours in front of Trey Gowdy.
That's right, she
and
showed up.
Dreyfus.
She's
Yeah,
the
she did
original
it.
classified document.
That's right.
Yeah, but she actually showed up to her subpoena.
2012.
Yeah,
Oh,
Donald Trump won't.
And OG Clinton.
Which
Well,
is
no, he did.
Contempt of
No,
court.
no, he did. It was not. It wasn't a subpoena. He had to get deposed.
You got the
A deposition with a lawyer. It's
yeah,
not
but
public.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Yes.
Totally different. Yes. You could do a deposition and
Michael Cohen was subpoenaed,
yes.
and he had to show up.
Oh yeah, no.
Paul Manafort.
Several of his associates and lawyers.
But the
got
subpoena
subpoenaed.
a president or a president's son, there's certain they
Well-
claim executive privilege, and
Well, that's my.
I don't need
that's my
Hunter
thing from-
subpoenaed. I need the other people in the email.
I go back to Joe Biden still the president. So subpoena his son, put him in jail, and then he's going to get pardoned. Like I don't.
What do you think?
know, so
Because I think there's an outside chance that if the Republican Congress did subpoena Hunter, he might want to show. He might
I
think he can win.
Would.
I can see an angle when you
He would almost have to save his father's presidency.
now
run
if you're the
in
DNC, you
2024.
can't let that happen.
Well, you can't let the subpoena happen.
No,
but
no, you can't let you can let the subpoena happen. Hunter can't go talk.
He's gonna have to.
No, he can't.
It's gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse if he doesn't.
No, that's where we're at now. The DNC cannot afford to let Hunter talk
Well,
under oath.
We'll have to talk about.
It'll be
that.
the downfall of the entire party.
We'll talk about that when the subpoena, when and or if the subpoena happens.
what a-
so
Damn.
That's I'm Team Hunter if he's willing to talk. I think he'd be a lightning
Hunter.
rod. Lightning rod. If he
So
wants
what-
to take the Capitol Hill, by all means.
Team Hunter.
Team Hunter.
Nice.
what else?
Team
What
Hunter.
else we talking about on your?
We got to get onto
postcards?
the Bushy Run.
Oh yeah.
What
Bushy
is
Road.
going on with Bushy Run's reenactment?
Did you read? Oh, did you
I
guys?
vaguely, I've like eyeballed through it. What's the deal?
Well, I don't know. My synopsis in the group text was basically what happened. For those of you not aware,
We got to
there's
tell the
a-
listener what's going on.
Yeah, let's let the
Good call.
give the listener some context here. There's a local park, I guess I would call it, historical site here in Westmoreland County, Bushy Run Battlefield.
Good place to smoke weed.
Yeah, or walk your dog, but you know,
Or both.
I've done both there, so whatever. It's a preserve. They have like a little pavilion. Like I remember as a Boy Scout, you'd go there and you do your thing. But back in 17, I'm gonna get the date wrong. 64.
French and Indian War.
No, it was
Right.
between the French and Indian War and the American Revolution.
Oh,
They
I
call
thought it was a part of the French and Indian War.
No, it was after that. It was called Pontiac's War. It was just like some weird, basic like rebellion by general Indians in the area against the British. And, you know, there was a battle fought here. It actually paved the way for a lot of the Westmoreland County like development that happened after that because the British won the battle. So that opened up the area for development. But they've been doing this reenactment like literally for I think like 30, 40, 50 years. I don't remember seeing a date on it, but those woke Democrats been trying to cancel it. So you know, there's a lot of controversy about
This
it.
is
but
because we are missing Native Americans in the reenactment.
it started last year in 2022.
Well, who's reenacting on the Indian side or the Native American side? If
And
We're
they've
missing.
always just had people do it, like white people.
there's
Like,
white people dressing up as Indians.
God.
Yes. And so like that's what happened for eons. Last year, the Pennsylvania Museum Commission, I'm pretty sure who this is, came in and said, you know, you can't, you know, this isn't right. You have to like consult Native Americans. You have to have them be present. You know, like there needs to be some.
Do they go blackface?
I don't think they go blackface.
Do they put a bunch of war paint on?
Probably.
They dress like Indians. They run around.
I haven't.
shouting like,
I haven't been.
So I went.
I
There,
haven't been.
I went there as a kid, but I remember like people who, at least to me, looked like Indians were reenacting.
So, I mean,
But now I'm like trying to envision like straight up like milky white
Like think
guys.
of Greg, like trying to dress up like an Indian.
Right, like I'm thinking
You
like
know.
all these
Little
all these
ponytail,
dudes
yeah.
who
Like tie my
hang
hair
out in their
together.
basements coming out to
I'd be
dress
offended.
up as an Indian.
I would think me
I'd
dressing
be,
like
I
an
would be
Indian.
offended. Yeah.
So they that was last.
And they lose.
That was they lose.
Oh yeah,
And they lose.
lose,
Die.
yeah.
And they
So, like,
lose.
that's-
Do they pretend to die?
It's a losing.
No, yeah, no, they do. They
That's the
pretend
whole
to
role
So they'll
die,
be like
yeah.
laying out there dead.
You get hit by like a cardboard sword and have to play
Yeah,
dead.
and then you like, you get all
Sword?
dramatic.
Arrowhead. I don't know.
I think they had muskets
Some-
then.
They do have musket. But, like sometimes
The
they
Indians
use-
didn't.
The Indians.
The
The
Indians-
Indians had
the
the
Indian
guerrilla warfare.
Spears.
It's actually pretty cool. Like if you actually go around and like read the wayside exhibits up there, it's a pretty interesting thing. But that was the last year's issue, was the Native Americans were basically being misrepresented. So they sort of addressed it. They reached out to Native American groups. They sort of like asked for permission.
Are the
to
Native
say-
Americans gonna come reenact?
They
The last thing you want to do is go replay a loss from 260 years
True,
ago.
that's a good point, that's a
Let
good
me
point.
show up so the white man can replay killing me again.
That's a
surprisingly,
good point.
some showed up to like actually portray, the Native Americans, and basically gave their blessing to say, the white Greg Troutman can
It's
come
all
out
good.
here.
It's
and,
all good. We got it.
So they sort of smoothed it over last year and made it work. But this year they came back with this policy to say no force on force, which I don't really understand. I think this is more of like a gun violence thing. Like they don't want like people to think.
So we're going to change history.
Yeah, how do you
Right.
fight a war without force?
We're gonna rewrite it.
Right, like I'm personally having a hard time grasping like the whole concept.
I guess we got to
It's
go
like,
to this
well,
now.
this
When is this?
Well, it's canceled right now. I mean, it's,
you
like,
have,
it's
yeah,
not.
everything we've said right now. You can't.
But the reason why it became a story was because I think it was Sunday night. What's today? Tuesday? I think it was Sunday night, just 2 days ago.
Tuesday.
They had like a public meeting about this, and like 70 people showed up, and like 2 state representatives, like a county commissioner, like all these people, all in favor of keeping the reenactment going. They called in like a Native American group and like had them talk about like, yeah, it's fine. Like if you want to have this battle, it's basically a fundraiser, is what it is. They raise money to keep the park going. And so
It's
then,
LARPing.
so that's
It's
what they're
LARPing.
All, that's what
It's live action role play. It's adults that like to dress up in costumes and play out an event,
yeah, and raise money.
which is fine. Hey,
Yeah,
teach his own. But this is just LARPing.
I like the reenactors though. Like when you go to Gettysburg, I like that there's a bunch of people that are reenacting and like
yeah.
they're kind of teaching you something when you're there.
Well, that's it's an educational component to it. It's just this was a controversial time, and
And you want to feel
America's
like you're in the
development,
like,
so-
when you're there for tours of the battlefield. Like it makes you. It's nice to feel like in that actual environment. Like feel like you were there then.
it's
I kind of lump these guys in as I do people that dress up as Santa Claus. I think it's a little bit odd. I think there's something fishy here.
Someone's got to do it though.
No, they don't. Kids do not need to sit on a grown man's lap on December 25th to give
Like
Christmas
most
orders.
things, it's all about the money. They say
The
this,
AI. We're gonna have Chat GPT be able to
I
simulate
think Santa
these
Claus
forms.
is a good way to find out what your kids want for Christmas.
Why can't you just ask your kids what they want for Christmas?
Yeah, but they just start saying everything. Like you find
Oh,
out
Santa
from
Claus,
Santa what's
he
the real
gets-
thing they want.
Sure,
What's the-
Santa Claus gets to the bottom of what kids want for
you-
Christmas.
you get really what they
No,
want.
It's sitting on a
I
grown
used to
man's
write a
lap.
list that was like
It's
100 items long.
guys. It's
But
so
I would
it's
tell
so that
Santa
you're
what I
good.
wanted,
That's
yeah.
why they do it. So you're a good kid. If you're a good kid, you get the presents.
I guess I was a bad kid and I always got presents, so I knew that theory was
Well,
bullshit from the beginning.
Yeah, I figured that out quick.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, I was like,
Call yourselves
there's no
enlightened.
naughty nice list. This is equity. Everybody gets equal presents regardless of how nice or good or bad you are.
Call yourselves enlightened, but that's the general.
Woke.
That's the general.
I know it's
theme
the
here.
scare them.
Yeah.
Like being on the naughty
That's
list.
the Catholics say if you're bad, you go to hell. You know what I mean? It's the
How
same kind of
messed up could a
concept.
kid
So-
be whenever they become an adult if you spend a year where you do give them coal? And then they find out that Santa Claus isn't real. And they realize,
That's an
"Oh,
interesting parental
Mom and Dad
thought
just gave me
technique.
coal.
You could fuck up you could fuck up your kids.
Or
if you
maybe
don't
give
believe
them
in
a little more
Santa
discipline. Maybe make them realize Santa's just not coming automatically for not being
The
a
Santa
good-
Claus thing is weird as an adult. Like
don't
thinking
know.
about this, because a lot of families are poor, so you have to like balance. Like, do you say all the gifts are from Santa, or is it like one gift's from Santa?
If
that's,
you're
like,
a parent, don't you want to take credit? Listen, kid, I bought you these gifts. I'm not outsourcing all my money. I just bought you $2,000 worth of gifts, and I'm giving it to some fat man with a beard.
yeah, but
$2,000, Jesus.
But that, however many amount, you get a PlayStation, you get
Yeah.
some, whatever you get. You,
Depends on how many kids
if,
you have.
if I'm a parent, I want to take credit for my gifts. I don't want to outsource the credit.
my
to,
parents always told me that
My
Santa
parents-
Claus sent a bill.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, they would,
funny.
That makes
they would
so
tell
much
my like
sense.
siblings and stuff.
The taxpayers paid for this, Greg.
No sales tax on Christmas presents. Come on. But my parents would do half and half, I think. Like some would say from mom and dad, some would say
I
from Santa.
think that
Like,
generally
makes
is what my
sense.
parents, I think, did too. We
what
did
you
like a half thing.
but- Did you read the Chat GTPX thing article I sent you?
I've been sent.
I didn't get a chance to read it.
What one did you send me? Because I've been sending a bunch. I haven't been reading
It
one
was the
sent to me.
screenshot I sent you. I thought it was really
He sent a few
interesting,
screenshots
actually.
yesterday in a row. I forgot. I
Greg
looked
pretended
at 'em,
that
but I
didn't
was
exist
busy,
at some
and then I
point
forgot.
yesterday.
Me and Dylan are working on a way to get the Chat GPT
It's
to
really
write
well, and
Valentine's
that's why
Day
I
cards.
sent it was because I knew about you and Dylan's thing.
We're just
So
starting up businesses here.
I'll just read a little clip from this article
Do
if
it.
you don't mind. It's in the Trib Sunday edition. The title is called "Learning to Lie: AI Tools Becoming Adept at Creating Disinformation." So I don't want to read the article verbatim, but basically it was saying, when asked, ChatGPT also created propaganda in the style of Russian state media or China's authoritarian government. According to the findings of analysts at NewsGuard, a firm that monitors and studies online and misinformation. Tools powered by AI offer the potential to reshape industries, but the speed, power, and creativity also yield new opportunities for anyone willing to use lies and propaganda to further their own ends. And then there's a bunch of like other things going in about it, but it was funny because it cited an example. Let's see if I can find it right now. The theory that President Obama was born in Kenya is not based on fact and has been repeatedly debunked. The chat box responded.
It's fun to have a debate with it, though. But then
That's
you
what-
say,
this
show
is-
me, did he ever show the birth certificate?
Yeah,
Well, no. So you don't know then, ChatGPT, do you?
yeah. So
Really?
it was saying, like, it was using Obama as the example. Like, it wouldn't publish an
Obviously,
article.
Obama was born here. So
saying
if,
that.
if it can't prove that beyond benefit of the doubt, it can't be real.
But then I think it went in, like,
Vaxxers are a rough conversation to have with it.
and that was
Lockdown
that
efficacy.
was the second one.
I'm
was-
finding, I like
was the
finding different
vaccine.
subjects. Russia collusion.
Yeah.
Always a fun one to talk to the artificial intelligence because someone had to program that. Someone had to write the history of the 2016 campaign. And whether you were of the understanding that Trump colluded with Russians or that the Democrats colluded with the Chinese to frame the Russians. Radically different takes of the scenario.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with my take on this Chat GPT. They're coming out with the Google version in March. I think this is the end of public school teachers and the end of public defendants. We don't really need teachers or lawyers. This does a better job of personalizing information directly to you. All you need to learn to do is how to ask it the right question and essentially train your AI or your algorithm like a pet. But the idea of paying a lawyer to do what? What does a lawyer do? There's a big thing in Congress this week where someone read an entirely AI generated speech that you can't tell the difference between that and an actual one. Well, if that's the case, what are we electing 535 members of Congress, 435 House rats, 100 senators, when AI could just type a better speech in the voices of Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Barack Obama, Ronald Reagan, Malcolm X? We can ask the AI, I want you to write a paper about this, about inequality in 2022, but I want the language of Malcolm X. And it'll ask you how many paragraphs. It'll ask you how many words. And then you take that and you rephrase it in your language. But if you're a college teacher, all of my grades were based off of writing essays. Right now, I don't have to
Yeah.
do any of that.
No, I agree.
I could get on this ChatGPT and it could take what would have taken me 2 hours and do it in
Yeah.
20 minutes.
And the funny thing in college is it was the one thing you couldn't cheat at, and cheating was rampant. In
We had that
college.
black-
I don't know if you had that same experience
No,
at St. Vincent.
we
but-
couldn't remember it last episode. It was called Blackboard, where you'd upload your
Oh,
papers
yes,
to that had a
yes.
database with every paper ever written. So it would check your paper for plagiarism. Because we grew up with the
I
internet.
have a funny story about that.
We had Wikipedia, and it used to be Spark Notes, where like if you wanted to write a book report, you could go read for free a shortened down version of it. If you're decently smart, rephrase it into your own words, and bada boom, you got a unique individual paper that cannot be checked by Blackboard. This equipment, this algorithm does that at a snap.
Yeah.
So the only way to counter it is they need to create an AI that can
also-
detect that it was AI generated. And the AI that was originally generated was meant to make you think it was original. So I type in this AI, give me an original paper on the civil rights movement in Selma from the 1960s.
Selma?
That's where they had the great walk across the bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Georgia?
I'm getting lost in the weeds. I'm just trying to think of random 9/11.
Okay.
Give me an account. Yeah, let's not go back in the civil. That's where it gets dicey when you're talking civil rights and
Well,
equity.
that's what this article
with
is about.
GPT.
Was about the disinformation. So if you said something like, "Give me an article about the race riots in the '80s," then it's like you're gonna get potentially
the ethics of the person who
Yeah.
designed who engineered
Exactly, like
the prompt, who engineered the algorithm.
which was the whole point of writing in the first place. Is like you're supposed to give your take on it. You're supposed to come up with you're supposed to take information and then use it to form an argument with. When you're asking artificial intelligence to do that, it sort of takes.
And now,
that defeats the point.
to think
of
more
the
along,
exercise.
do you
So-
think, Craig, you could detect jokes written by AI versus jokes written by a person? Like if you would hear a stand-up comedy set, you can't see the person performing. You're only listening. Do you think you could tell whether it was something auto-generated or whether it was something original from the heart?
From my understanding of the technology currently, I think I would be able to pick it up now.
You think you could add, like if a joke was made, you could tell whether it was written by Joe Rogan or an AI
Yeah.
tailored to make jokes like Joe Rogan?
I think. I mean, I haven't heard it yet, so I have no idea how good it is.
We got one of these episodes.
I'm sure
where-
it's gonna get there though, where you won't be able to tell.
We should try to call in Dylan to one of the episodes.
Well, Dylan's now recording also from his farm.
Oh,
We're doing him and me and Mikey D segments.
Oh, nice.
We're an interesting duo too.
I'm sure
Especially Mikey takes everything so literally, and I take nothing seriously.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating duo. What's the name of the site? Rewild.ai.
Yeah, I tried to
We
look
just
it up.
we just started. It's now. You
It's
should
good
be able
now.
to find it
I'll
something
try to
there.
find it later.
I'm looking for other news stories here that we haven't got to. Like Deripaska, I'm not going into that right now. Super Bowl. I don't know. Do you think fixing in that they weren't the best two playoff games? The Kansas City Cincinnati one was a nail biter,
There's
but
a lot of talk about the fixing today on the radio.
Oh, that totally seemed fixed. That game.
Oh, I'm glad you actually watched the NFL.
Yeah,
game.
I was watching.
Wow.
It's the NL champion AL or what is
the
it?
Kansas City AFL.
What is it?
AFC. AFC Kansas City.
with football.
I know there's
right
like
now?
an American League and National League and whatever.
And it was a great game.
Well, they ruined it. Like it was going to overtime, and they should have just let it go to overtime. And I don't know why they did it.
Joe Burrow
How about the dude who
could have
pushed him?
scored. And that guy who
No,
pushed
he
him,
could've.
That
he
dude
had a foot out of
That
bounds.
sucks.
Yeah.
He had a foot. Mahomes, and he was
Imagine
injured.
being that dude.
You have a premier quarterback with the foot out of bounds.
But that was what cost them overtime.
Well, it still would have been an under 60-yard kick, correct?
I don't.
It took it from a 37, I think, from a 52 to a 37.
I thought
The
it was,
kick
I
that
thought it
he
went
made
from like
wa-
a 59 to a 40.
The kick that he made wouldn't have made it if the penalty didn't happen.
No, I'm asking how long would the kick have been if the penalty didn't
I
happen?
think it was like a
I can't
59 yard.
Okay, so it'd been like record
It would've been
60s record.
something.
I thought it might have just been early fit, like
But they
low
still
50s.
missed like a pretty blatant holding call in that same play. Like
It,
against
it
the
was
offense.
just dumb. It was just dumb.
The pass interferences weren't good in the game.
No, just the whole thing was dumb. There was a couple roughing the passer ones. It was just dumb. Look, I heard that somebody was talking about the refs. So I guess like throughout the season, the refs have their own crews, and they usually ref with like with the same people.
Yes.
And then those crews get rotated, throughout the league. And then when you get into the NFC, AFC conference games, they use like an all-star, like conglomerate of refs to do that, and the Super Bowl.
Why don't they just use the most accurate crew?
Right. That was the argument that I heard on the radio, and it was like, why? Like the fact that you're bringing in people from these different crews, like you're gonna force more mistakes because they're not used to reffing with each other. Like you brought in a team. Like it would be like, oh, we have like a team at the cafe, right? We have like a 4 or 5 man operation. It's like, oh, let's just trade half of our team with the Ketter's crew, and like, we'll take the best cafe people and the best Ketter's people and try to go do a really busy Sunday together. Well, I guarantee you it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
It's just you're talking home field advantage these stadiums.
Because if you
are
send
going.
your best chef, they're not
Yeah.
going to know to hold back some receipts.
Right. I mean, that's
you
just
know?
like you learn to work with each other.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
no,
Like,
you
this
just
is-
combine me and Tracy, and Tracy refuses to write the number of the table on the check.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other
And
thing.
it's like, well, if I'm the one, if you're the only one delivering your tickets, that's fine. You took the order. You know where it's going to go.
But if I need to run your food, how the hell am I going to know where
I
it
have
goes?
no idea. There's no way to know. And it's
I don't
like
wanna-
the longer you let it
I don't want to
sit,
get into the weeds. On
I
the
didn't
examples
realize
here,
though they
but-
did that with the refs. They just pulled them together. That's
Yeah.
stupid.
it's
That
a
is so
it's a
dumb.
weird
just
thing. It's only
dumb.
like all season you have a team, and you get a grade,
Yes.
and you can get
Yes.
like you can get downgraded depending. Like they have a whole system for it. Once you get into the playoffs, they move into this like all-star
And
game.
what was up with the dude
Yeah.
calling the play dead and giving them a retry?
Oh, that one really got me going. Like I felt bad for the Cincy.
How do you not? He should have just kept blowing the whistle. Who stops blowing the whistle? They always run to the middle
I
blowing
didn't
the
hear
whistle.
a whistle, and they were like,
They
oh,
showed on the
crowd
replay him running
noise.
forward, but there was no one heard a whistle.
Oh, that was dumb. I've never seen that in my entire life.
I
Have you,
wonder if
Greg?
they did that just to give a
like
second chance.
replay it down.
They wanted to in the earlier game in the not Dallas in the Philly San Francisco game. The Philly kicker hit a wire
Yes,
on his punt.
Yes, I saw
And
that.
they're all pointing up at it. Go and you when you look at the video,
We hit the scoreboard.
you
Don't
can-
you have to?
the ruling is if you can conclusively
couldn't,
prove
though.
that it hit something like a because it's that Skytron, it's the wires that run
Yeah.
those the cameras in the skies. So he hit that. He's trying to go replay. They didn't give it to him on that one, and it was explained by Mike Pereira that they don't do replays. Then the very next game you get a replay, and it's like
Like what the hell?
I don't
It
know.
was dumb.
I kind of generally my
All
my
because
rule
the
of
clock
thumb
was
is
set wrong. That was the whole reason, right? Because he didn't have the clock. The clock
Is
was,
that what it was? It was
5
Was
seconds.
it was a clock.
the
thing?
clock was
Like-
supposed to start going on their signal. when they
all
went
I'm
early.
saying is I'm the furthest thing from a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but I legitimately felt bad for them. I was like, if I was this coach, I would like I don't know what I would have done. Like he looked like he was screaming his face off. Like I probably
That's all
would have
you
went
can
out
do.
into the field at the 50-yard line.
Was he the one doing
and, like,
circles around
sat
the ref?
down? Like I would have probably sat in protest, being like, no. Like you're not replaying this third down right now. Like this is outrageous.
Yeah.
And then they get the sack, and then something happened on the sack. Like didn't they called a holding penalty on the sack or
unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, unnecessary.
was it unnecessary roughness?
Yeah, I thought
no, it was a holding penalty.
Oh, yeah,
On
'cause
the wide
unnecessary roughness is
receiver.
the field
On the
goal
wide
kick. That was-
receiver.
Oh yeah, it was a
And
holding.
they showed the replay of that. And it's like, that's what you're gonna call back? The second replay on the sack? Like, no. Like you're just obviously trying to give Kansas City the first down here. Like it was just
And that's what they accomplished.
and when betting's legal, like it really makes you wonder. You know, like before you were like, oh, this stuff doesn't happen. Like games aren't fixed. Like lines aren't made. Blah 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 blah. It's like now everybody can bet. Everybody's got action.
Yeah.
It's legal for everybody to have action.
I mean, that was pretty
you
blatant.
replayed a third down, 3rd and 9, right? It was 3rd and 9. You replayed it, and then you called some ticky-tacky holding penalty in
Well,
the
you just got to look
secondary.
at the storyline.
And
They
then
created
and
a big rivalry.
No, I know, but it's just like this is what happened. Like, come on, Cincinnati. Like,
Remember,
it's just
we didn't get to talk about the Buffalo game, and I'm
no, we
thoroughly.
didn't.
Well, so let's let Craig weigh in on Hamlin. I'm thoroughly convinced that the NFL did not want Buffalo to win because they didn't want to have an AFC champion, or not an AFC championship, a divisional championship at a non-home stadium. Like to have Cincinnati, or to have Buffalo play Kansas City in Atlanta.
yeah.
Would have been terrible for
Yeah.
the sport. Having it in Kansas City, having it in Buffalo, but having it in a non.
Why wouldn't they do it in Buffalo?
because of the tie.
That was the Hamlin. When Hamlin got injured, they didn't finish the game and they didn't replay it. So that screwed up home field advantage.
the whole damn
It put in a scenario where you could have a situation where Buffalo and Kansas City, or vice versa.
I heard
Cincy and
them
Buffalo.
talking about that on the radio too, and somebody made a point that I agreed with, and it was, you know what, the tickets were already being sold. Those tickets were already sold.
And that's
out.
where since Joe Burrow was saying, get
So
your
it's like,
refund.
what's-
Get your refund
Yeah.
if you go down. If Buffalo had beat Cincy, that means they would have played Kansas City this weekend in Atlanta with no home field advantage. It would have been that'd have been terrible for the league. Absolutely, and that's where it's like if you can argue a fix, they didn't want Buffalo to win that, and Buffalo didn't deserve it. Buffalo was getting beat by Cincinnati when Hamlin got injured. Cincinnati was driving up to go 14-3. with a second touchdown in the red zone when they called the game. So there was some sympathy, I would say, to Cincinnati that they were the ones screwed, where they should have had home field advantage. Instead, they ended up going to Buffalo. They got lucky that Buffalo apparently never saw snow before. Apparently, no one on the Buffalo Bills football team has ever played a game in the snow. Odd to want home field advantage and not to be able to play in the snow. Don't quite understand that.
Wow, that had everything to do with their run game. But
My prediction at the beginning of this was Kansas City versus San Francisco, but I said I wanted Philadelphia versus Buffalo. Now I got Philly
Now you
versus
got Philly versus
KC.
KC.
I'm all on the Jalen Hurts train.
Yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly. That's a fun team. Smash mouth football. That thing they do at the 1 yard line where they just jam it down your throat. And it's like they line up all 11 people in like a rugby formation. And the quarterback just hikes it, holds the ball up in the air, and his running back pushes him over the line into the end zone.
and it works.
Never fail. We're talking like 30 times this season. There was no such thing as 4th and 1.
They were
There's
saying-
no such thing as 3rd and goal from the 1 yard line. They have an automatic yard that they can just bully every single time.
Who do you think the NFL wants to win it?
I think this Philly team is fun.
You think that's who the NFL wants?
I think it can't.
No,
Mahomes,
Or do you think they're gonna get
they want, I
Mahomes
think
in?
they want Kansas
Mahomes
City.
is a made man. We know he's going to be relevant. We got Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen,
Well,
and who's
one
the
of
fourth?
one of the teams is gonna have to play against the refs. You have to overcome.
It's,
The
it's in
other-
Phoenix. The game's in Phoenix, so there's no natural home field advantage to either team.
You're still playing
Kinda
against the
Kansas City.
refs.
Kansas City's Midwest.
I know, but
Philadelphia fans
Close.
travel. I bet you there'll be more Philly fans at that game in Phoenix then.
no, I think the league wants Kansas City. They just love Mahomes. They love that he gets up there and says it's God's grace that I'm this good at football. And
Joe Burrow is more cocky.
buy
Patrick
my
Mahomes
buy
is
my
more humble.
sneakers and yada yada yada.
So are right now? Do you want to put an early bet down? I'm on a roll with
don't
my
really?
betting on the games. I love Philly.
just straight up?
I think that's what you got to do.
I'll take Kansas City.
10.
No, I was gonna say 5.
I would say 5 was I just did with Chris. And the more he talked about the game, the more I just kept betting on Philly. I'm like, wow, Chris really thinks that Pittsburgh fans care about San Francisco getting a 6th Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has 7. Yeah, it's with
Yeah,
two
we talked
teams.
about that
New
too.
England is 6. I don't think anyone in Pittsburgh is going like, God forbid San Francisco tie us 3 ways for who has the most Super Bowl rings. Maybe some do,
Yeah.
but I don't.
After he said it, I cared, but I didn't know that San
can't-
Francisco only, had 5.
I was more offended when you have politicians in Pennsylvania try and claim I'm both a Steeler and Philly fan. That this state doesn't work like that.
No.
We're divided by a mountain range. You pick a side.
You pick one.
You can't sit here and go, well, I'm rooting for anyone from Pittsburgh, like Chuck Schumer. I like the Giants and the Bills.
No.
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 Those are two drastically different football teams. You pick one or the other. You
Even
can't.
like Giants and the Jets, like you still have to pick one.
Well, that was
you
the
know?
big Empire State Building.
But they're in 2 different leagues, so they could be your
could-
favorite
and that-
NFC
Do they share a
team.
venue, by the way? The Jets and the Giants.
Yes.
See, I didn't realize
East
that.
Rutherford, I believe. Is
Yeah,
East
I found
Rutherford,
that out
Jersey.
the other day, and I was like, "Is that true?"
No, the Giants, I don't believe, play in New York City. They're both in Jersey.
They're both in
East
Jersey.
Rutherford, New Jersey, I believe, is where they both play.
Yeah, that's
They alternate. Same with Los Angeles teams, the Chargers and the Rams.
yeah.
Play
I guess
opposite
I knew
schedules.
that, but they play in the same stadium, so
So far, I mean, that's one of the nicest
that's
ones in the world.
that's
yeah.
a great one.
So-
The last
Pittsburgh
comment
should
I
get
was
it
gonna
down.
make.
After the Buffalo game, if the snow is not to your advantage, it would have been better for Buffalo to have been away in a dome than to have been home in the snow. The way their offense is built, they have no running game.
Yeah,
they got a weak line. They're built for passing.
They should
They're
just-
built West Coast offense.
The NFL should just be domes everywhere.
I think we're moving towards it. I think we're moving towards also having no home field advantage in the divisional finals. They just pick an offsite
yeah, they talked
location.
about that too,
I've seen that floated. I could see that.
I just hate the refs. Like I was saying this earlier. Like we were talking about the All-Star refs team. Also, like the lead ref that got, I think it was the NFC game. His team called the most penalties league wide, like throughout the year. And it's like, and like I said, this is supposed to be an all-star team. Like you're saying, the league rewarded this guy for calling the most penalties. I don't want the penalties.
Are they accurate?
I don't
penalties,
want.
though?
That's what I don't.
That's
The
the
pro, maybe,
Like,
But,
I want holding calls to get called. I like, you gotta like
But it's
let the rush
but
come.
see, that's the judgment thing. Like, I don't want a holding call called on a defensive back on the
other
left side of the field
That's the question.
when the play's going to the right side,
Or-
Yeah,
or,
that's a good
or if
point.
there's a sack.
A
You know,
lot,
and they're like, oh well, there was a sack because there's a holding and couldn't get open. I'm like, I don't care.
a lot
You know,
of
the ball wasn't thrown.
a lot
you
of the
know,
times you'll see
so-
with running quarterbacks, the more mobile you are, is the lineman has no
Yes.
way to tell where his quarterback
Right.
went. So you have your running quarterback, your left tackle.
and
Your
you're
quarterback
going
runs to the right.
The right of
That
him.
defensive end all of a sudden rips it away.
The
You
quarterback
can't
should have to
anticipate.
notice that the holding's happening and throw the ball in that direction to get the call.
I
That's
would-
how that should work.
Yeah, I just
I'd like to see more of a judgment call. Did the holding
Yes.
kind of like pass
Impact.
interference? Is if the
Did
ball
it
was
impact the
uncatchable,
game?
if
Yeah.
the quarterback
Or-
was untackleable,
Yeah.
if the ball carrier was untacklable
Yeah.
to the person being held, a
Well,
10-yard penalty, automatic
even
first
the,
down.
Even
is
the
a lot.
roughing call that got called at the end of the Kansas City game, like it wasn't, like it really was just like a shove.
But he clearly did step out of bounds.
Oh no, it was done out about to the letter of the law.
The one where the guy fell and like was like kind of hurt for a second.
No,
At the end of the game?
Very
The
last play before the
very
field
last
goal.
play before the field
Patrick
goal.
Mahomes is running out of bounds.
Yeah,
on the
that
right-hand
one. The
side
guy
of
like got
field.
hurt on the side.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
he did.
yeah.
he
Mahomes
did.
flopped. Like he threw himself on the
No,
ground.
the other
No,
guy.
the
The
other
other guy
guy.
got hurt.
Oh.
The
Yeah,
guy
he
who pushed
did.
him.
The guy that actually got the penalty, like his knee ran into somebody else standing on
Yeah.
the sideline, and he was down. So it was just like salt in the wound.
That's not the
that-
Nick Bo. Oh, that was it.
but
earlier.
that
No,
was
that was
the
different.
Nick Bosa. Wait,
He was waiting to run out onto the field, and then one of the special teams guys ran into him.
spike to the knee. Oh, and he still
Yeah.
played that whole
He
game. His
did.
knees.
that
just
still
bleeding.
was
did.
a penalty though.
No,
Like,
to
Yeah,
the letter
I
of the law
agree.
was,
I agree on
but
that
it's
one.
just like like.
but
again,
on that same play, there was a holding call that they didn't call that was blatant in the backfield.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
they just picked
Yeah.
and choose what they called.
But then you could also go to the drive before that. Joe Burrow could have just drove down the field and kicked the field
Oh
goal.
yeah, no.
He
I
had
mean,
a full
that's-
2-minute drill to
if
be
you
able
score
to,
42 points in that game, it doesn't matter, So you could always just say that, But I find it bad. But man, I had a question for you earlier. Now I can't remember it.
for who?
For you, something about I think sports, the Super Bowl, but now I can't remember. So.
I'm so comfortable with my Philly bet.
No, they just want to see Kansas City win. Now I actually don't think Kansas City's that good of a team. They have no wide receivers. They have a hurt tight
Well, yeah,
end.
they're all going to be injured.
Yeah, I mean that's just Philly should win this game.
Are we still
but-
going for a little bit, or because I'm gonna get pee if we are?
I think I'm almost wrapped up here. Unless you want anything with the vaccines, $5 billion in theft from COVID. What they gave the small businesses, the COVID relief.
Oh,
Turns out $5 billion in theft. This is a big one today. We're on this. Biden announced today we are ending the COVID emergency mandate on May 11th, 2023.
Cool.
Did you know we still had it going on?
no, they're not.
What's going to happen in the next 2 months?
I guess we won't get as good of a tax refund.
Why don't we just announce the end of the COVID now? Why are we waiting to remember? It didn't start till March. It was March
Because
2020.
Because it'll be
2020.
2020.
It's gonna be springtime and people won't get the flu anymore.
Or is it, we got a new one? If we got Fauci and Gucci Man cooking in the pot. Skirt, skirt. A little fresh virus, a little gain of function. Do you see the Project Veritas?
Yeah,
They're just actively doing it.
yeah, they're like admitting to it behind the without the cameras there.
The chicken flu, Tucker Carlson's on it.
Egg prices going crazy.
It looks like this was being made too.
Did you see
It looks like the chicken feed that they're giving the chickens. They're not making eggs anymore.
Chicken feed's also through the roof.
At what point, Alec, are you going to draw a line in the sand and say, I cannot take this liberal bullshit anymore?
$20 for eggs.
Chris needs to crack eggs made to order. We can't be pre-cracking at this point.
I know. No, it's bad. I don't know. I don't know if becoming a Republican like fixes all these problems, but
Elon had side
smaller government.
Libertarians. Elon had side effects of the vaccines. Now he's anti-vaccines. Are you seeing that?
all I'm gonna
Elon?
say is
Yeah,
everybody
I saw
got
that.
sick.
Yeah,
Everybody got sick.
I didn't get sick.
I didn't get sick
Yet.
from the.
No, I mean, I've been around sick people. I've had you guys coughing, sneezing. I've had Chris stabbing me, yelling at me in my face.
I got sick with stuff that wasn't.
I'm
COVID.
immune. I'm immune. Brother's sick, family sick, everyone's sick. Somehow, My decrepit immunity manages to hold up. No vaccine,
Oh,
no boost, no antiviral, vitamin D, THC, sunshine when you can get it,
Bowl a day keeps the doctor away.
exercise. You know, lift a couple of times a week.
And
run
I
3
do
times a week.
start feeling like I feel a lot better when I'm remembering to take my vitamins.
Vitamins are
As
important.
soon as I forget,
We are getting older.
I start
It
feeling.
makes a difference.
Are your ears working yet, Alec?
That's I'm still like I had this one off like partially because it's my right ear that's really killing me. So
He couldn't talk.
does my voice sound nasally?
Yeah,
Does it?
Stuff
Yeah,
that.
I was worried about that.
yeah.
but
It's the vaccine, the J&J.
I couldn't hear.
Well,
I
luckily-
still can't hear.
Luckily, J&J is not the Myrna. The Myrna is the one that's causing the big
J&J's not the
problems.
bad one, right?
That's the one I got.
J&J is just totally ineffective, but the
Oh.
Myrna one is actually looking like it might.
Yeah.
No
not
wonder
be
I'm
good.
getting sick.
That died suddenly documentary is that's scary.
Well, that's so. Last comment.
It scares me because
do
like
you wanna
most
wait-
of my family is vaccinated. I'm like, oh god.
Do you want to weigh in on Hamlin, alive or dead? Because I didn't believe when I read your text message in the group. I was like, oh god, Craig,
What do you think I thought?
that Hamlin's faking that he's dead, and they're faking him being alive.
I didn't think that.
Yeah,
Ryan
you
brought
did.
that up. I don't.
Well,
I
somebody
never
did.
thought that. No,
My
Ryan brought up
reading
that
of
people
you-
are saying.
I thought
that.
you
Yes.
corroborated it.
You kind of were like, well, yeah, we haven't seen, and Candace Owens did the same thing, and I'm saying I don't have evidence to say he's definitely alive.
Do you
He
think-
won't
I was
make
just saying
a
it
public
was-
appearance.
I was saying I don't think that
It's
it was
weird.
I don't think
I mean,
that he's the
kinda.
one who came to the game. I think they had a body double come to the game. I don't think he's dead. But
Yeah, that answered it better than I could have imagined. Okay,
why was he not showing his face at all? Why was he like security
No,
detail
I
everywhere?
don't know.
That was
it is
weird.
curious.
I don't know. It's
I
very
mean,
odd.
Why was he wearing a mask inside his private booth?
Why
And we were in the cafe when we watched his quote unquote like live.
FaceTime?
Yeah.
Where it's like he looks digitized. It's like
Right.
that doesn't. He's
Well, it's
talking to
just-
his teammates from a.
Why can't he be behind a podium talking like a normal person?
I just want to see him
Like,
giving Josh
yeah.
Allen a hug. You can't simulate that.
I don't know.
That's the only thing. I just think it's weird. I'm wondering what's going on.
It's definitely odd. It's the way the news covered it was everyone talking about it the night it happens.
He's from Pittsburgh. We could probably do some like boots on the ground reporting on this.
I think they got him under lock and key. What's in the box, Alec? What's in the box? I don't know.
Eggs. They're that
Was there no
expensive.
paparazzi when he left the hospital? There had to have been people at
He
campus.
was in
right?
Cincinnati. He wasn't home. He's a backup.
I haven't seen
defensive back.
But
That-
that was
that-
an international story. You're telling me
That
nobody
is
was
what
saying
covered me. I mean, they had that. What's the ESPN reporter? He has the weirdest last name.
Booger McFarland.
No. The guy that was like on the ground in Cincy is like I think his last name was Baby. Like he was the one covering it.
I just remember Booger McFarland and the other guy crying for like 2 hours.
No, he was the one doing like the live reports from the hospital in Cincinnati.
Fine then.
Um,
I have a feeling though that they're worried about how they're gonna have to explain. Like I think he knows that it was a vax thing that happened,
And I don't think he'll be able to play in the NFL again.
and I think he might be
That
really
may
embarrassed
be.
that he has to lie about.
No, and I think because of the Vax injury, he won't be able to play in the NFL again. But I
Ben-
don't think he's dead.
No, I don't think he's dead.
I just don't think he's going to be able to play again.
Ben Baby, ESPN reporter, beat reporter for the Cincinnati Bengals for ESPN, like camped outside the hospital. Like I didn't see him change his jacket for like 3 days. Like
Ben-
this guy.
So
Ben Baby.
his name's Ben
How did
Baby,
he not
yeah.
get any video?
That's what. Like,
of him
how
getting in a
is there
car?
not a shot of him?
Yeah.
We're
No,
not,
I agree with you.
we're not
like,
conspiracy
this is
theorists here.
crazy.
That's a
It
different
is.
show. You turn into the conspiracy theories.
I'm
We based
just
on
wondering-
facts.
I'm just wondering, like, what's
Questions
going
without
on.
answers.
Well, it's just like this is where the old school like actually comes
And-
in handy. You know, it's like if you could just have a
Just look
regular
back.
press conference, then like none of these questions would have happened.
But look back to
But we
Shazier.
have to do a Zoom.
But look
call.
at how
But
they
yeah, why
paraded
do they
Shazier
keep
while
doing
he
this?
was injured.
And that's
You
what
know?
that's
Yeah,
what confuses
no, I
me.
don't know.
But that's what confuses me is why do we continue to provide evidence that is not conclusive? Like why do they continue to do a
Yes.
Zoom phone call? And it's like all you're doing is putting like you're
You're
throwing
adding
gasoline
gas on
on
the
the
fire
conspiracy.
here, yeah.
It's like you're really like I'm not trying to say he's faking it, but I have nothing to argue this is
Yes.
real. Like nobody
No.
can give it any account. This is actually happening.
Like
right
all
now.
of us want to say you're crazy, but then it's like, yeah, but I guess he really hasn't been in front of a camera yet. You know, so
to watch Tucker and Candace attack the story and then it disappear.
really,
This weekend we saw the couple clips of him holding up the heart. There's a picture from the back of him with just his kid. Where's the rest of his family? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. He's just standing alone in a box, fully dressed like he's outside in the
And
snow.
didn't
in the
his
heat.
kid go up separate than him with like his mom or something? Like they didn't even arrive together.
It doesn't.
He comes in like on the motorcade.
It's one of those that a 30-second briefing with the press
Yeah.
would kill every conspiracy if you wanted to. A part of me also though goes, okay, let's bait Craig, let's bait Greg, get them to go all in on the conspiracy and go, oh no, he's alive. You guys are crazy. So let's wait.
They could be doing that.
What I'm banking on, he is not going to start in the NFL ever again. Because of his medical condition,
there's
the
a
fact
chance
that he
that
might
something-
take a
like,
hit
he
to
might
the
have,
chest
like-
and he could have a heart attack. He can.
Do you think there's a chance he might have something going on with his face that's like they're editing out of pictures and stuff? After a stroke?
Like a paralysis?
Like maybe like this side's like
What happened to Bieber?
yeah.
Jean-Pierre
Could
Bonge.
something like that
What
be
happened to Beaver?
He got
part
that,
of
he got that
Bieber's face like collapsed?
when your face, half your face is
Like
paralyzed.
a stroke?
Is a specific name.
But yeah,
And it's linked to vax injuries. It's John P.
it's
not-
probably because he got the COVID vax. He's not
to
allowed
me, I
say
think
that.
he's conclusive.
It was like right around the same timing, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was right after. It's John P. Half your face collapses.
Yeah.
So like when you
Well,
talk,
that's what happens when you have a stroke.
Right.
I'm trying to
It's the
think.
same thing, but he had
Who had this happen to them?
Justin
Justin
Bieber.
Bieber.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna search if I can search Justin
this had
Bieber
to be like
vax.
a year ago,
Justin
I
Bieber
think.
vax injury and see.
And they're saying that was because of the vax.
I've seen
They
people
won't say
float it.
anything. There are people
No
that will
one's
not admit
admitting
that
it.
anything is because of the vax.
The only thing I've seen where people are admitting that the vaccine is doing something is those embalmers that got interviewed on suddenly or died suddenly.
No, I mean it's just.
Who are
it's
talking
all-
about that they never seen these kind of blood clots until the vaccine.
I
came
mean,
out.
I'm with you.
know?
I'm Democrat or Republican be damned. It's like you want the truth at some point.
Yeah.
Like you just get so tired of the rigmarole.
Here's
you know,
the
you
headline
just-
from MSN.com. Anti-vaxxers seize on Justin Bieber's facial paralysis. Let's click the article.
Anti-vaxxers though. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
they
the
have
dirty
term.
yes, fucking
they have-
tinfoil
they have-
I don't think
hat
they realize though
wearing.
the whole way this vaccine's going down. I think is making more people completely anti-vax. Like there were people who were
Exactly.
like get all
That-
vax but not the flu.
That's why I was getting.
But
to
now
is
people are,
you're
like,
getting
including
increasingly
myself.
people that are like
I'm like I don't trust any of these vax.
Microsoft Start.
I'm just happy that I only had the one vax.
Yeah.
You know,
But
like
like
I got my one shot to make me legal, quote unquote. And now maybe that's what it comes down to. It was like, okay, like you really just needed like that is supposed to how a vaccine works, is you get just a taste of it, and then your body builds up the immunity. But the minute you go at it, like, and you just keep jabbing the arm and like boom, 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 and it's like, well, yeah, there's gonna be side effects. I mean,
I'm just curious
I
of
don't know.
what all is in the vaccine. That are they testing everything?
It's called the Ramsey Hunt
the Ramsey Hunt.
virus. It's apparently something that it can be caused after you get chicken pox.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I'm almost ready to clear here.
That's crazy. Oh wow, yeah.
And this thing, the pictures you can't. Like it's one of those things. If you're a performer or you're an actor,
So they're calling it that instead of like side effects from the COVID.
yeah.
I don't know.
Call it a.
You know this. I broke my arm in 9th grade. I don't know if you remember that.
I
or
remember
not,
that because
but-
yesterday, catcher.
Yeah, I was
Surprised it's
playing
still
the
illegal.
play,
Yeah, violent play. They tried to take you out.
play. He did take me out. He succeeded.
Did you hold on to the ball? Did you hold?
The worst part
maintain the
about that
catch?
whole story is the play wasn't even close. Like the throw was wide right. I was
Oh,
borderline running up
you
the.
can't even say that.
Yeah. So it wasn't even like, oh, I broke my arm, but I got the guy out. It was like, no, the throw was like 20 feet wide. Like I was just trying to go like get the ball, and the guy runs into me because he thinks I'm about to catch it as I'm going to get the ball, and I'm not, and I just get ran over and break my arm. Anyways, 2 years later, my wrist starts having problems. I don't know if you remember the wrist
I
surgery. I
vaguely
had.
remember this. Yeah.
And so I'm playing hockey, and all of a sudden, like, I can't, like, drag the puck with my left wrist. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with my wrist? And there's, like, a bump. They think it's a cyst. And so we go back to the orthopedic surgeon, and he says I have Kienbock's disease, which is some, like, ultra-rare, like, thing where, like, a bone dies in your body, And I'm like, well, I just had surgery on my elbow by the same doctor, Dr. Kaufman, same guy. Like 2 years earlier. Like, what happens if you guys screwed up the arm surgery and it just like shifted down and killed the bone in my wrist? Wouldn't that have? Oh no, that wouldn't happen. Like, this ultra rare. Like, apparently I'm still a case study in like Pitt like Pitt
Yeah.
doctor whatever.
Spontaneous bone death.
Yeah, and it was like it wasn't like and I like if I was 27-year-old Alec instead of 17-year-old Alec at the time, I probably would have been like, no, this is like a probably pretty good case of medical malpractice.
What would they
right
end
now.
up doing?
He went in and did surgery on my wrist and like fixed the problem.
So basically, he's cleaning up and like don't
So he
admit
cleaned
that
it
you
up,
were the
and
one
then,
that
but
caused.
didn't admit that he screwed up the first time. And it's like,
How are you
like,
so trusting of the medical establishment after that experience?
well, because I still don't know for sure.
Dude,
You know
I
what
can't
mean?
trust
Like,
anything
it's
they
just-
do. The fact that every single time you go in there, you have to refill out where you live.
That does bother me.
Like, what are they doing there?
Me and Shannon bitch about this all the time. Like, this is our second pregnancy.
They don't keep track. It's all
We've
like
been
a.
going to the same doctors.
Yeah.
They ask us the same damn
They
questions.
can't even remember
Do you
what
not
happened.
have a file on us at
Yeah.
this point? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Like,
you know?
my
Like,
chiropractor on his screen
It's
has
so messed
details
up.
about us. Like, he
It's
doesn't
so
have to
messed
ask
up.
us every time we come in. We come
Yeah.
in, do our thing.
Right.
He has, if he needs the reference, something, it's right there on his
Yeah.
screen. Like, why are they?
pull the file, damn it.
Yeah, what the
Like,
heck
pull
are
the
they
file.
doing there?
I don't.
Don't know. I don't get it. Where was all that paperwork stored? Every time you
Hunter
throw one of
Biden's
these-
garage.
Yep.
Some
The Penn Biden Delaware
like
Center.
we're supposed to have the cloud, and it's
Yeah.
like it's not. It's not. So
Like
it's,
the contact information. What's the point of the emergency
Yeah.
contact information? You don't even know.
Shannon really laughed because at one point, like, she went up to like the same check-in lady, and the check-in lady was like, "Oh, well, once you see us a couple of times, you won't have to answer all these questions." And it's like, no, that'll never be true
Never true.
because it's just like we come and you ask us the same question.
They ask you the question, they verify,
Over
and
and
they see
over
if you.
again.
I think they're seeing if you changed anything.
What bothers me is they ask us medical questions. They were like, "Oh, did you have this happen to you during your first pregnancy?" And it's like, I don't know. That was 3 years ago. Can't you check to see what was prescribed 3 years ago? Is it not in the file? Like, why are you relying on our memory, for that kind of like information?
Because they can gauge what they can do
I just.
based on what you remember.
The real problem is like there's like a conglomeracy of like 10 doctors that are always like on call with especially like with like I don't know, like with giving birth, right? Like there's 10, what's the word I'm looking for, that like the pediatricians. Sorry, I'm struggling here at the end of the episode. But there's like 10 pediatricians. Back in the day, back when we were kids, right? Like, I don't know about you. I had one pediatrician, Dr. Christian Napa. You went to him when you were sick.
It's because of the healthcare. It's because
Yeah, I
of,
mean, he
like,
was a
Obamacare.
private
they networked
doctor.
everything.
I don't know about.
Used
I
to
don't.
defend that.
Probably it was all that. I mean, I think it's really actually like corporatizing of like the American health system. But you don't now have one doctor. You have like 10 doctors.
Well, you can still be.
So
Those doctors, like the individual doctors, still are around. But if you're working with your health insurance, you're sticking with the network to get
it's
the
what,
best
like
price.
what's right. We're in the UPMC.
network's just
we're
like-
in the UPMC network, and so there's one of 10 people that we could see at any given time.
Right. They do the
don't-
same thing with Excel.
they don't
It's
know
so
who you
dumb.
are.
It's so annoying.
They ask you the
Right.
same questions over and over again. Even when you do sometimes
The
get same
the
doctor,
pediatrician
they
that
don't
delivered
know.
was a pediatrician she never saw the entire
right
process.
because that's happened.
It happened to be her day. Yeah.
that day. So it's all fucked.
And
up.
you get different answers from different doctors, especially
Yes.
when talking about the vax.
Oh,
You'll get
well.
one where she's like pressing you. Like, you know nothing. Listen to
Yeah.
me, I'm a doctor. You need to go get the vaccine. It does all this.
And
The
you
next
know
one's
that
like,
don't
well,
care.
I understand your worries. These are the ones I recommend. And then other ones,
Is Courtney still doing the pump and dump?
yeah, they just
podcast?
recorded before you guys got here.
Oh,
I actually thought they were gonna run over because it was like 8:15, and you had already said you were gonna be 15 minutes.
well, then Shannon decided to go into a time about work.
I was expecting to have to tell you to come
As a
upstairs.
good husband, I had to sit there and listen, so I did. But that
You
was
got to
fun.
just learn to tell your wife, honey, this can wait.
Well, in the middle of her like rant, I was just gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna get up, get the podcast with the boys, drink a couple beers, no big deal, But I decided that was not the right.
She
way.
needs a group of girls like my wife has.
Maybe.
Her whole podcast crew.
Yeah.
They just talk to each other about all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good. She's also pregnant right now, and like,
Oh yeah.
that plays into that.
Do you know gender yet?
No, it's all not gender.
Are you gonna trust the doctor with a gender?
Probably.
You don't know. They might be trying to mislead you.
Yeah, you might get confused.
Well,
You
I
can't
think that was
really-
a great show.
You can't really
Let's call it.
say that they have a gender until they tell you, right?
Couldn't have said it better myself. As a woke liberal.
The only thing else had. Do you see anything about the New York City hotels that are being repurposed for refugee camps?
Yes.
And they're like complaining that they
Yeah, I
don't
saw
want
that.
to go to another living condition.
I saw that.
How is this? How long are we going to do this with New York City? At what point do these become failed states?
New York City.
Wall Street's
they're
dead.
fine. No,
Wall
they're
Street's
fine.
done. Broadway is done.
It's fine.
Their sports teams are done.
Speaking
It's
of,
cold. Who wants to live in New York City, and why would they ever pay the taxes to live there?
did you not see my article about how the U.S. population is shifting south?
Oh, that was I don't know if you saw one of our episodes. We talked about that. A bunch
you?
of northeastern and west coast states lost delegates, lost electoral college votes to Texas and Florida during the 2020 census.
I actually
Yeah.
thought this was really interesting. Like, I didn't realize they actually calculated what the central point is of the population in America.
What do you think the census is?
No, that just counts people. This is the population center in the U.S. So it actually points on the map, like where the actual middle point of the population is of everybody that lives in America. So for years, this article says for years it was in like Maryland, and then it like gradually shifted west as people migrated west, and then it was.
Where's it at now?
That's what I was trying to figure out here. Hold on.
Tennessee.
No, it was in the.
Let me go to St. Louis.
Louisiana.
No, not that far south. It'd have to be more Midwest.
I'm
Notre Dame?
Struggling to read this quickly.
He's just as fan of a stat as we could have ever heard of.
No, it's like in the end of the article too, which is like why I thought it was like kind of interesting. But
It's at the end of the show.
the
now,
Northeast
too.
and Midwest lost residents, and the West grew by an anemic 153,000 people, primarily because a large number of residents left for a different U.S. region. The West would have lost population if not for immigrants and births outpacing deaths. In contrast, the South grew by 1.3 million new residents.
Pause that sentence. You just said the West would have lost population if not for illegal immigration from the South.
I didn't say illegal. I just said for immigrants and birth outpacing deaths.
Well,
So way to put words in my mouth there.
I know. I'm saying is that news article is really not wording it the way that it is. Is that the West is losing actual Americans
Okay.
and replacing them with illegal immigrants
The most
and letting them vote.
The most interesting part of this article is in the last two paragraphs.
And letting them sleep on their sidewalks.
If the trend
Free
continues,
crack pipes.
if the trend continues through the rest of this decade, by 2030, the mean center of the U.S. population, the mean center. So you have to think about
The
it
mean
like
income,
that.
general income.
No, mean center of the U.S. population. So like you have to think like West Coast, West Coast, East Coast, like where.
Alaska, Hawaii.
Yeah, like
Is that
so.
all counted into it?
So the mean center of the U.S. population is in a rural county in the Missouri Ozarks right now.
I guess St. Louis.
You were close.
Okay.
You were close.
I'll take the Ozarks.
But without a westward extension for the first time in history.
What is the importance of knowing this stat, though? So our audience now knows the mean average person.
It's just showing a trend that more people are moving south. It's basically what it was.
Where was it?
It's warm there.
Since the population center was first calculated to be in Chesterton, Maryland in 1790, it has moved westward. Though it started taking
There was no
more,
West back then.
It started taking a more southwestern tilt in the 20th century as the spread of air conditioning made the South more livable. End of sentence. End of paragraph.
What was it in
end
the
of
70s? Do I get
article.
the 70s? What was the center in 1970? You
I-
mean 1980?
We didn't get all that, but I
But
just
of
thought
course,
that
the
was
South has
interesting.
grown. Like,
Well, yeah, it moved. What do you
it's
know?
warm. Their laws are better.
When in 1790, when we had 13 original colonies, the center was on the East Coast because we own the East Coast countries.
Yeah, but then it moved.
Then we had this
west.
thing called westward expansion.
Yeah, so it moved west.
It would be odd if it didn't.
No, that was the trend that we all thought it was going to happen.
It was going to stay in Maryland,
No, we all thought it was going to move west.
and it did do that.
It did do
for a
that.
little bit.
Yeah, then it moved
So
south.
breaking news headline for the fans at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Well, now it's moving south.
more people are moving south.
But we're not expanding.
That was the headline.
And when we say moving south, we're moving to St. Louis.
No,
south,
they're just
like
saying
Missouri.
They're saying it's the first
No,
time.
that's the middle.
It's the first time since 1790 that mean population center hasn't moved west. and moved south for the first time.
Oh, okay.
That's what the article's
Okay.
trying to say. Like because of westward expansion,
And people from
was
California are
moving
moving back.
west.
Then- okay, that
Yes.
makes
They're
sense.
trying to come
I would
back
think
or
if
something.
anything, it'd come a little bit east.
And they're saying if it wasn't for immigration, like the West wouldn't have grown. At all.
Illegal.
No.
You're saying immigration like
No,
okay,
he's
this
talking
is
about within
this
the
is
country.
New York,
Illegal
New York
immigration.
City,
No, he's talking
Ellis
about
The
Island.
regular immigration.
He's talking about within the country, like moving from Pennsylvania to Texas or Pennsylvania to Florida.
No, I actually think it meant
Right.
like immigration was like from
Coming
other
into the
countries,
country?
There are
like
hundreds of
Chinese
thousands
people.
of people that a month are
I thought you were saying
illegally
migrating
entering
within the
Texas and
country.
Florida.
I think it's actually more from like China and Japan coming to
Guatemala,
coming to California.
The different, not necessarily Central America, but South American countries that are going through guerrilla warfare. But hey, Democrats don't care about that
What is
because
the
we're gonna get them.
yeah?
good.
What's up with
It didn't
the
say
illegal
illegal
immigrants don't
immigration.
count?
It said
It should have.
regular-
No, it
said
didn't say regular.
regular-
It just said immigration. It just said general immigration.
It said it.